He's going to talk to us about unveiling the tools, innovations, and manufacturing excellence expected by OEMs. So that should cover all around all the topics that we have heard so far.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As said, first of all, I want to thank IPI management and also the guest speakers who have been doing from morning and more with the audience. I think without your support, this event will not go well. So certainly whatever the technologies, innovations are shared by the members will be taken by you in a right sense, and then you will be implementing, hope you'll be implementing in your organizations. Thanks for it. Once again, I'm not a technical expert. As said, I'm going to share my general views about the supplier OEM relations or customer supplier relations. Okay. I will not talk much about plastics except one slide. More I will talk about general things. So for me, just remember 2 points before I start. I want to remember one is the time. Time is running out. So anything what we do, it should be at right action at right time and within time. This is important. First point. Second, innovate, partner, and sustain. These two are very key for the success of the OEMs and suppliers. And whatever today we talk about the innovations, how it will be implemented, how it's going to be, put on in the reality is key. Just coming into evolution of plastics in car, just one slide I will take up. I remember, of course, I have larger experience. So I used to see the cars in 90s when we had our local cars. When we enter the car, we will see just blank bar, the BAWs, the stamped bodies with weldings, welding and painted parts. And we will see very less plastics inside. Only we can center pillars, pillar trims all. And if you go to the outside also, it will be a bare body. We can see the parking brakes, the gear shift levers. You come to the trunk side, you can see the the basic metal parts. This was the situation at time, and the last 2 decades have changed drastically with the global players. Today we see more plastic everywhere. I enter a car, we'll see only plastics today. We cannot see any metal part today. The metal parts have its own difficulties of, corrosions or, over a period. So plastics have played a major role in the auto industries. And also outside, you can see the claddings, you can see the waste end moldings, you can see the grills, bumpers, everything it has got, the period has got implemented in the vehicles. Not only in the aesthetic parts, functional parts, like, is it inlet manifold, or you talk about engine covers, or engine oil pans, or you talk about fuel tanks, or the, other functional gear shift levers, everywhere plastics have started playing because of their, key properties, unique properties. But still, I feel auto industry, compared to consumer goods, electronics, or, other industrial usage, plastics need to grow further in the auto industries on the weight, maybe in the number of parts in the vehicle, plastic would be more. Looking at the weight of the car, the plastics are not to that level still. So we have a big gap in the usage, so which will certainly be an opportunity for us to work together. So you can see what are the key driving factors for plastics. As most of you know, it is reduced weight, flexibility in part design. That is what the key here. And the resistance to corrosion, and aesthetics, noise reductions, its insulation of thermal and electrical properties, and then the strength and toughness, which is more, it is developing equivalent to a metal part. It is being developed now. So these are the key factors how the plastics have started, being used in the vehicles. And you can see how it is. You can see the entire vehicle. Wherever we see today, we can see the plastic parts, whether it is bumpers or the seatings, dashboards, interior, exteriors. We can see everywhere major parts, PP, ABS, nylon, PUs, PVCs. We have a lot of parts, and the new innovative materials are started also using in the vehicles. It is what, today we have to look how we can do. But on the usage point, still we have only hardly 15% the plastics used in a vehicle on the weight basis. When I compare a vehicle of almost 900,000 kgs, I can see only around 150 kg or something plastics used. So we have a log. Of course, there are difficulties we have. We cannot use everywhere. So we need to really look at the body. The BAW forms a major part of the vehicles. So we cannot directly adopt. But then with innovations, with the new technologies coming, especially EVs and fuel efficiencies, I'm sure we will improve on this, and then the usage will be improved a lot. So what is key here is innovations. Innovation is important. all put together. It's a collaborative. It should be from the polymers, as I see today. Many innovative materials, have been talked about. Innovative process. So that is also a very key. Innovative, machines, right machines. I think we have a lot of machine makers here, and also the toolings, right toolings. So all these things, if we start putting together, I hope we'll be able to move further upon this, and then we'll be able to see a higher usage of plastics in the vehicles with coming days, coming years. Okay, this was the first one side. I will talk about the plastics. Then I will talk more about the, the OEM and supplier relations, how we can sustain together. That is important. So, evolution of OEM supplier approach in India. I will talk about Indian context because globally it is something different. So, how it evolved in the 2 decades. In 90s, we saw more OEM-driven approaches. So, OEM have been pushing the, having the technology. We had limited supplier base, we had limited technology at supplier ends, and continuous OEM involvements in every supplier on the process, on setting up the systems, also the validations. So everywhere OEMs have to involve. But a drastic change happened in these 2 decades, and today you can see it's a collaborative OEM supplier approach. Because supplier technology has improved, technology has evolved among the suppliers. You can see today how the presentations are made by the suppliers, especially business and technical acquisitions, global supplier presence, and takeovers, and tier and suppliers have really improved the level of technologies and the validation facilities. So today it's a collaborative approach. Technology evolution is not only in the plastics. We can see the electronics, is the ADAS, mobilities. Then the safety features, as today morning we talked about the government regulations coming with fuel emissions, coming with safety, airbags. Today we have to put 6 airbags in a car, seat belts, alarms, and brakings with ABS, VDCs. Everywhere we have to adopt the new technologies, and with the EVs coming, suppliers have more knowledge. Not audible. Suppliers have more, knowledge than OEMs, I can say today. OEMs depend on suppliers. That is important. That is why the collaborative approach happens. So now it's going to be a collaborative way of, development, what will happen, rather than OEMs pushing suppliers. It's good because OEMs will concentrate more on the innovations, and suppliers can support on the, the technologies. Okay, now let me see how OEMs and suppliers are impacted by the factors. There are a lot of external factors which really influence the relationship between the strategies of manufacturers and suppliers. So we have 2 sides. We have manufacturing strategy, manufacturer strategy. Other side we have supplier strategies, and everyone is here manufacturer, whether it is a OEM, whether it is a molders or the polymer developer or a tool maker or a process. So everybody have both act as a customer as well as supplier. So everybody is going to have the same strategies. And one side we have a manufacturer, OEM, one side we have suppliers. So we have the impacts coming with end consumers. Today it is what India, you can see the increased demands. As I talk about as a OEM, when I had the customer expectations have gone up. Today they are talking about high, high standards of quality, high standards of services, high standard of, the futures in the vehicles what we buy, but they want at a lower cost. And they want with, comparison. Today they can compare all the manufacturers, all the, whether it's a passenger car, whether it is a consumer goods or whatever it is, they do the benchmarking and they want best of best. This is what the pressure which is putting on the, both the manufacturers as well as the suppliers. Shareholders, yes, high expectation comes on economic results. Everybody wants profit. Everybody wants to control the cost. And everybody wants investment. I cannot clear any investment if I don't going to have the profitability of the project. So these are what the pressures which is coming from stake shareholders and financial institution sides. Then comes the government side or the social values, regulations, as just I said. We have the safety regulation, we have the recycling, emission norms, CSR, that is very important today to manage, and then green environment. We have pressures coming from other side, and finally, sustainability. Sustainability in terms of, continuing the, developing the skill resources. We cannot just keep on, we need to innovate. That's what happening today. We have to continuously innovate to enrich our, skills. So developing skilled resources, technology acquisitions and innovation, which has to be continuous, and sustainable performance. These all were impacting the, influencing the manufacturing suppliers relations, how it can, proceed. Okay. How it is impacting? So it's a big slide, it's a dense slide, don't go deep into it. Just I'm trying to explain you a few things here. So we have many factors which are, impacting the OEMs and suppliers. From OEM point of view, if we take, we have the market competition, as I said, the consumer demands. We have the tough TDC, cost targets, so we have to be competitive with the, with the competition. Optimize supplier base is a very key point here, because earlier we used to have many supplier base for the products. Today we need to have a limited, reduced supplier base. For any commodity, we'll have 2 or 3 suppliers only. So elite suppliers are important here. That is where the continuity of, long-term partnerships plays a role. Continuous upgradations, new launches which has to be continuous, less development lead time. We cannot take time as we used to be long back. It may take in 2 years. Now we have to launch in 1.5 years, 1 year, even facelifts in even in 6-8 months. We have to be, because if we are late, other competitor will come up. So it has to be very less time, lead times. Sorry. Government regulations, as I said, economic factors. Somebody morning we're talking about the logistic, someone talking about the forex increases, RM increases, RM prices, inflations, input costs, everything is putting pressure on the OEMs. Same way, what is opportunities, as morning when you were talking about the potential for export. Today with the competitive Indian market base, we have a lot of potentials for export, part exports or vehicle exports. Competitive supplier base. Because supplier long-term partnerships, volumes bundling, we have a common platforms where bring in where we can have combined volumes of the platform and able to win for a win-win approach with suppliers and CS and green environment. There are some areas of opportunities. Same way applies to suppliers. From supplier point of view, we talk about new business. Everybody wants a new business. Everybody wants a long-term partnership. We want to be there in every project. This is the expectation coming from suppliers. Innovation and upstream stage involvement, this we'll talk about in the later stage, but innovations we can see, what our presentation today we are seeing from the guest speakers, it is clearly showing we are working on more on innovations. And morning, just an example, Apple, I think they are talking about some glass fibers being used in the parcel trays. I would put in a small example, even the OEM where I worked, we went for a jute. Instead of wood stock, jute was proposed by one of the suppliers as a cost reduction activity. So a lot of small innovations are happening in the supplier side as well as the OEM. And competitiveness, of course, it is common. Potential parts export, when vehicle export happens, India becomes a hub for parts export, like that's many OEMs are doing here, which is opportunity for the suppliers. Collaborative design, what we talked about, and sharing of productivity benefits. We work together and then we share the benefits among the cost. But toughness is, once again, the economic factors is common for both OEMs and suppliers. Less development lead time, as OEM has a problem, supplier also a problem, they have to respond fast to the, the changes. Skill level and technologies, management of satellite plants. So many suppliers have put, plants near the OEM. So managing the plant, focus of management is also getting it a tough time. And the QCDDM sustainability, we'll talk about this in the coming slide, and CSR compliance. So these are the impacting factors for both OEMs and suppliers, and unless a strong partnership approach is there, this cannot be overcome. So how to overcome this? Very simple. The core values and principle to be followed. So whether it is a OEM, whether it is a supplier, we need this respect, transparency and trust. So please keep in mind, whether you are a OEM or you are a supplier or a customer, respect, transparency and trust are very key values which has to be followed at every level, whether it is at top level or the bottom level, which will help with one voice, professionalism and a fair adherence, fair practices. This will help us to grow together. Sorry, I'm taking more time. Is it okay? Sorry for this. Yeah, okay. So respect is very important, as I said, whether it's a bigger supplier, smaller supplier, bigger OEM, smaller OEM, or you are a monopoly, try to respect one another, honor the commitments, and take full ownership for the actions. Transparency is we have the clarity of information, whether it's a performance management, to achieve the goals and performance, we have to have a clarity on the informations. And in overcoming difficulties, as morning somebody talked about the logistic difficulties or the calamities will happen, we may have flood, we have fire accident, labor issues may happen. To overcome, both should transparently work together to solve the problems, and also a clear decision, DOAs, to be very clear among the organizations. And trust, a two-way trust, and then the partnership mode is very key for, to give the best out of the organization. So these are the core values which you need to keep up to have a sustained long-term partnership. So how this can continue, and how potential suppliers, how we can have a long-term partnership. Just I try to put here a plan, do, check and action. So how a OEM and make the potential supplier base. So basically potential supplier base is the group of suppliers which are maintained for any sourcing decisions. So this is from the study, from the past experience or the data collection or the RFQ or the experience or the history what they have. So there will be a pool of suppliers for each commodity, and then these same suppliers will be sent for the for the new project nominations or selections for RFQs, and they will be selected. And then this selection is not important. The more important is how the suppliers are monitored. So the post project life cycle is important. So how suppliers QCDDM is monitored and their performance is tracked. And if it is a collaborative way of improving this, so your suppliers' performance is not good, then we have a collaborative approach. OEMs just with suppliers to improve them. And in case if they improve and then sustain, it continues, the pool of the potential supplier base remains same, but not so. There is a possibility of resourcing, but resourcing is difficult nowadays because of the commitments. But certainly supplier base will be removed from the pool of the potential suppliers. So it becomes difficult for us to involve in the next cycle of the activities or the projects. Because it is there's a pressure, as I said, for limited supplier base, a lot of pressure comes. So you have to be among the few elite suppliers with good performance to be part of the the collaborative and upstream activities. How this will help? So, as I said, right time. You should know right time. So supplier involvement at right stage is very important for the success. So just we try to put here the key activities in your project. So whether it is upstream activity, or it is optimization sourcing process, or it is a milestone management, or it is a performance management. So we have many activities involved in every stage of the this progress. So first is in the upstream. Upstream is nothing but the concept, concept, just finding the design, what vehicle we want to do or what type of commodities we want to do. So here basically potential suppliers has the advantage because they are involved in the beginning stage itself. So whatever innovations today we talk about, whether it is on the materials, whether it is on the the process, all can be adopted or looked at, proposed at this type of design stage. Okay, and and also EPD, early parts development, what we call, or co-innovations and joint advanced study. These all will be the things where suppliers should try to involve themselves with OEMs so that their ideas can be sold and they can have an upper hand on the sourcings. Then comes the design finalization and the sourcing stage, where we have this, where the design is further optimized for a better cost and better specifications, wherein we should, as I said, are we in the potential base? That's what suppliers should think. So we have to be there. That is what we have to work for. Right team involvement in the RFI. So many times what happens when you go for the this type of upstream design activities, RFIs are normally sent to suppliers. So that be a good right team to involve in the RFI stage, understand the requirements, expectations of the OEMs, and then you should try to propose yourself with best solutions. And if it is an opportunity, it could be difficult. So understand the tech files and propose optimized right designs, and design to cost, and then spec challenges. These are the parts which could help, which are the process which can help us to propose optimized thing. Then comes the sourcing, supplier selection. So many times the RFI converts into RFQ. Okay, our RFI is mainly for a study and RFQ is for the nomination. So you should understand not only technical file, you should also understand quality, logistics, other customer expectations, which many times we found in our experience suppliers don't go much into it. And also a competitive quotation, which should be done by some reasonable risk and benchmarkings, but not for entry pricing. So many times we found we want to have the business. So supplier come with some kind of entry prices later. When it comes to the mass production stage, Many times they come and say sorry that okay we made a wrong decisions. We are not we made assumptions were not right. We made some kind of an underpricing. We are not able to sustain. So these are all the things which is going to impact the supplier the performances. So and also very important is right tier and base. And also local tool makers. So many times now the technology is improved, so we have many tools which are made by many mold makers make the tool here itself. So try to see localize as much as possible your tool maker tools and also right tier and base you try to maintain. Then comes the development stage where people have to be careful. Why I'm saying this is just inputs I'm giving you. Did you confirm the design properly before you start the toolings? Many times what happens, you make the toolings and then when it comes to the trial stage, you see I have not considered these aspects, design was not properly taken, these the changes are not considered. So this is where a project team should work and try to understand and put a proper action on toolings. Dedicated project team, periodical progress reviews and deploy right machine and manpower. These are very key for the development stage. And comes the industrialization stage where we need to go for the design cutoffs, be careful on the design cutoffs, and also off tool off process. A lot of confusions happens here in supply on off tool and off process. Many think that even at SOP stage, the tools are lying somewhere, the process is done somewhere, some toolings are made still manual operations, so a lot of, and some delays happening. So off tool off process is very clear. For trials, off tool means the part should be made from the tools, not any manual process. Off process is what? It has to be made in the forum conditions, which is going to supply at the SOP conditions or the mass production condition. These two, many times suppliers get confused and a lot of difficulties happen in the approval delays. Then comes the period, then capacity. So sometimes we were overconfident and we see the volumes will not go, so people go more on confirming the capacities. They may try to adopt some time in the machines, but when it comes to actual production, you will not be able to manage it. Sometimes running serial life and new product in the same line, you will have difficulties in managing the capacities. So this may also lead to the difficulties of performance and the process audits. This is also very important to ensure that forum conditions are maintained. And then sub-suppliers management. So many suppliers or OEMs focus on tier 1 supplier, but they forget what is going to happen in the tier N levels. So that is also key for the success of the supplier OEM relations. And comes the mass production stage. So first 3 months or 6 months of any mass production is going to be tough. It is not easy because of the basic design issues, quality issues, or the capacity issues, which certainly will come. It has to stabilize. So we have to be careful on proper firewalls, proper monitoring, and then overcoming initial manufacturing issues and right QCDM performance is part of the mass production stage. So serial life, quality ranking, delivery performance, right warranty performance, after sale support, IR management, and CSR and safety. So these are all the key things to be taken care on the various stages of the the projects. We said this is, as I said, right action at right time within time is very important to sustain and grow together. So with this. So the key success, once again, as we said, I showed the plan to check act. So what is next? How this will be monitored? So there are 5 factors. Of course, every OEM have different way of monitoring the supplier performances. But basic thing is quality, cost, delivery, development, and management. These are the 5 factors where suppliers are being rated or performance is monitored. So quality. The quality ranking. So every OEM have a different way of ranking the suppliers. It comes from the right process, right quality systems, foolproof measures, forum compliance, and periodical audits. So these are very key for ensuring the right quality. Second is cost. Of course, cost is key. Competitiveness and cost reduction. So there are 2 things in cost. One is the project cost. When you quote for your new projects or new solutions, new designs, you have to be competitive, but does not mean you have to live with that. There are pressures, as I said in the first few slides, that pressure comes from the external factors. So we have to go on improving the cost performance. So continuous cost reductions are key for the success. So benchmark, spec challenges, waste reduction, you try to reduce, you try to recycle, you try to reuse, optimize the process, manufacturing CPU focus, not only on the parts, you should look at the manufacturing also, you should find the CPU, to improve the expenditures, and then localization of material and toolings, which everyone hope of will be doing. So these are very key for cost competitiveness and cost performance. Delivery, as we said, delivery is not simply supplying the parts in time to the plant. Delivery includes right capacity, right manpower, right level of FG and WIPs, both at OEM and as well as at supplier end, adhering to delivery documentations, right logistics management, and then preventive checks. So these are very key to have a delivery ranking, for the suppliers. And comes development. Of course, development we talked in the previous slide. So how the technical support is given by the suppliers to the OEMs in terms of innovations, right project team, right skills and technology, value engineering, milestone adherence, and validation capabilities. These are all considered in rating the suppliers on the development capabilities. And then comes the management. So management is, I think, above all is very key, because sustainability we talk. So stability is important. Stability or sustainability in terms of customer focus, in terms of financial stability, that is also very key. Many suppliers start failing in later stages because of financial issues. CSR compliance, as many talked about the green environment and the employee safety, plant safety, employee safety, and legal, adhering to the legal things, and also disclosure of documentations. Then right IR management, right safety measures, management focus, as I said, on the subtle plans and anticipative approach. So these are very key, and supplier performance are mainly managed by the OEMs based on these 5 factors. So if it is strong, the one second the Q circle comes, and then we get into the panel, potential panel, and then we could have a long-term sustainable relationship. So as a conclusion, future is tough with challenges, no doubt. We have regulations coming, advanced technologies coming, environmental CSR compliances, but can create opportunities. So regulation comes. Today we see 5 airbags coming. It is a business. Okay, airbag. We go for a airbag sensor alarms, it's a business. Okay, we go for a VDC airbag. It is a business. So opportunities, but also will come with along with the regulations, tough with challenges. Continuous innovation is very key for success. So collaborating among suppliers, as we said, as a plastic suppliers, RM, raw material, polymers, process, machine, and toolings all should work together to find innovative approaches and propose to OEMs. Same way, it is done in other things, and digital transformation is another thing. So look for the AI. The AIS comes. A digital transformation of the process design is important, and the recycling needs for a green environment. As many said, they are working on the recycling and green environments. Proactive and anticipative approach of sustainability. Always be proactive, always think what is going to happen, anticipate, and then work accordingly. And be competitive, deploying right cost levers. We have a lot of cost levers we have, so we can look how we can adopt these things. And sustain long-term partnership with customer focus, performance, and collaborative approach. This all put together will help us to have a long-time sustained relationship. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your patience.